Hola my lovers, it's MJ from Art of TV. How are you? I want to do a monthly energy update. I was doing these for a while and I just sort of came off of them, and I'm feeling really guided to make sure that we're gonna keep doing these collective intuitions. So this is my own unique perspective, and then my intuitive emotional connection with the collective energy of Earth and beyond. Ha! So if you resonate here, thank you so much for showing up. Thank you for liking, subscribing, commenting. It's super cool to get to know my lovers on the planet who feel the mega hot love. I'm super compassionate, have been my whole life. I've been like veggie vegan for almost 25 years. I have a series of online courses that focus on my lifestyle, basically, being intuitively guided. I've had a very successful 12-year yoga teaching, meditation teaching, and transformational coaching career. And now here I am on the YouTube vibrashe. Divide Sight with Divide Sight and the beautiful Maxine and the Roots, and many other very, very cool people that have almost, you would say, miraculously showing up right here on the internet, on the YouTube land. And like the truth of all to love comes from like just that compassionate piece of like, hello, is anyone out there? And like hardcore empath. So those of us who usually resonate on these kinds of channels have this sort of awareness of beyond the veil. So at some point in our lives, possibly, and here's the thing, my lovers, like everyone does. That's certainly, again, the empath perspective is like everyone has psychic abilities, intuitive abilities, emotional intelligence. Like, um, you know, we're all these divine vessels, and so the way we tap that divinity is really how much we can access those broader potentialities, whether it's the way we express ourselves in art, music, whatever it might be, right? We are creators, and so this whole awakening is about allowing ourselves to create and allowing ourselves to reach like high vibrash, mega love, mega ecstasy, bliss. And that's a big part of the expression here is like legit just showing up how my intuition is like, okay, like let's go live. I'm like, okay. And it's a continual, and that's why I share so transparently, because I, in my awareness, certainly as an empath, I'm like, you can't hide, ultimately. Like, you can't hide from yourself. The more sensitive we become, the more evident it is when one is lying. Or you know, certainly for the empath community, like when you feel or sense what people are feeling and they're lying, or like they're not saying what they mean, they're not saying what they feel. And as many of us have studied and researched quantum physics and you know, different layers of spirituality, but also like modern theoretical study of this idea of consciousness or God, or and the way it all kind of fits together in as far as our ability to project the reality we want to see. That's truth. That's you know, that's how it goes. That's how we create here. For a lot of us, it would appear that we have this. I call it the emotional storm, and that process I would say is ongoing, and yet like boy, oh boy, when you take these leaps to endeavor to heal the emotional body, it's pretty intense and deep and relentless, and there's a lot of density. But I mean, when we look at the state of the world and we have a deeper understanding of what I call the karmic backlog, which is like what we inherit in our DNA and our genetics and blah 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 blah, as a collective, it would appear that we have a bit of emotional clearing, just a bit of emotional clearing to do before we can start to feel really empowered, before we can begin to really be like, this is it. This is my purpose. This is what I'm meant to do. And it is mind blowing. It is oftentimes Divine Sight and I chit chat quite a bit, and we joke about the cosmic trickster, like because we talk about loops as well. So we have these infinity loops. We have Lorna in the house. Hi Lorna, I love you, chica. Let's we just say happy, happy, happy birthday, Lorna. It was Lorna's birthday yesterday or 2 days ago, Lorna. Um, So we have these infinity loops, these tribes that we are now congregating as we come together here on the internet, which is like 5D creation station. As we align in resonance here, we ultimately reflect back one another's greater sense of powers. Happy birthday, Lorna! Hello, yes, yesterday. Miraculous times. Hi, gracious love. Yes, please. The eye of peace in the center of the storm. I'm really feeling that as well. This like, and I get little drop-ins about possibly sharing or reminding people to come away from any kind of media or device or anything that kind of pulls you down or makes you confused or frightened or scared. So, holla holla. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Have a look at Ultra Love. You can check out the products and little ways of supporting myself and the movement. And I've been sharing on the YouTube for many years, and I kind of 2012 I just started like it's super, if any of you have ever done it as well, it's like it's a bit of a process of getting used to talking to yourself on the screen. So 2012 to 2014 I just sort of learned how to film and edit and do that and got used to just talking, and then 2014 I started taking it more seriously. 2016 I took a huge leap into like online entrepreneurship, published the book, and really the last few years have just been like, what the heck? And anywho, so thank you. And I really appreciate getting to know you guys. And it's really nice when you guys share videos and all that jazz because we like to. Let's crack on. Let's crack on with the notes that I've got about Jean. Um, and bearing in mind, often my work here is like over a month I might kind of extrapolate different energies, and then I can add throughout the month different insights that come in. One thing that I'm aware of is that the month of June is a number 10, or rather June 2020, as a number it's a 10, which really is like a 1. So no shit, we've been culminating, we've been closing, we have like at some point in the next month or two, maybe more, but like over the summer season, there's going to be a point where there's 7, if that's not all of them, but 7 planets going retrograde. It's almost like let's just tap the darkest areas that we possibly can. Or you could say let's just look at the most extensive kind of contrast in the here now to really figure out what we want. Hey Maxine, it is, right? I think we have, and that's the point of our suffering. Hello, yes, frozen pause. Well, because it's been, I have paused. You just said pause, and I'm like, gosh, I feel. Some of you know I did a mushroom ceremony last Friday on the new moon in Gemini, and and I've shared with Divine Sight about how over the last 2 days, one, I've been guided. I've had essentially like a 5-day like smoothie um sort of fasting, like just natural, just like, and but I've not done anything either. I've just pretty much been like retreating in my room, getting the monthly readings done, having chats, resting. Yesterday I went out to the garden. Holla. One of the days I went to the, anywho, like just this quietude and this like desire to reflect, and then I've expressed how I've felt like it's the echo. I feel like there's this echo of the plant medicine going, just chill, like you're not gonna do anything by moving faster. And I'm just like and so I'm like integrating these energies. So the one note I have for this ending and beginning month, so be prepared also, my lovers. Yes, oh yeah, trust, calm, be content, be whatevs. At the same time, we also want to have a sense of readiness or preparedness, which I think is also part of the natural quantum leap, is that we are in a mutable energy, a transformational global energy. If we're undergoing this transformation, it's quite right. One, that we're practicing to be present here now, and two, that we're like, holla, woo, like be ready to jump, be ready to fall, be ready to like be light on our feet, like a dancer. Whereas that's something, I think that's like a quote from Jack Black. Like, let's be light on our feet like a fucking dancer, my lovers. Come on, because like especially with the global energies, and okay, I'm going to get to some of the global energy recognitions as well. So we're taking a mini retreat. Personal is the global or international. The micro is the macro. As within, so without. Blah blah. So we have, from my own personal perspective, in being guided by this paradigm shift on the planet, what we recognize in this great pause, or you could say awakening, or you could say cosmic bloom or pandemic, right? Whatever words you want to use, what's going on is like the entirety of humanity is suddenly like, what the actual? Like, what's actually going on, right? So these deeper questions, and it's taking its time. Hasn't been like a day. These are weeks now, months that we've been in this energy. And we think we live in this fast, convenient, like blah, blah, boo. We have it all sorted out. Bosh. No, you don't. No, you don't. So, layer by layer and tier by tier, we're holding space essentially for the entire planet. I'm talking mainstream dominant collective energies. The entire planet is having a complete value system reevaluation. Are we really on the right track? Is this really the direction we want to go in? Is all of this finger pointing and dividing us up, is this really working for us? I.e., externalizing our power. Is that construct really working for us? My fellow human? My lovers? No. Blaming each other for all the shits that we're in is not at all effective. At all. At all. Like, all that does is keep us disempowered. So there's that, and there seems to be this sort of degradation, this sort of like break by break, different layers. And I gotta say, I'm really, really thankful to be at this stage of my own evolution, to be able to kind of pop out of all of these socially constructed three-dimensional paradigm worlds, and then to come out the other side and feel whole and feel complete and feel in love with myself and my reality and the people in my reality and my community and my business, and to just be like, holy holy lot of love for getting me to this point, even though there have been so many moments of like, I shall just give up. I shall put my fucking stormtrooper mask back on and just deny my truth and be a slave. And that's not like, you just get to these beyond moments, and then you keep getting to the beyond, and then you keep getting to the beyond, that you are the now beyond, and you're with your beyond friends being like, did we do it? You're like, yeah, pretty sure we're looking at things from a very different perspective from everybody else. And yet I'm not even like, because my everybody else is you guys, and like in truth my 3D reality is like all hot lovers, empaths at this point. Very recently it wasn't, I still had to walk away from situations. You still, and that's, I have a very unique journey in as far as like fairly small family upbringing, and then a pretty unique family construct where it was my natural, it was, breaking those ties early on, I think, are a huge piece of being fairly fluid and detached when it comes to human relationships, friends that I met along the way, people. But because I had such a kind of breakaway from my familial, my bloodline, as a young person, I never had those sense. So personally, that sense of like, when I'm done, I'm done. And it's from love, and that's the weirdest thing. Is like, not everyone would always get that, but it really is a place of love, because I'm choosing my love for myself, and I just leave a situation without, yeah. Especially when I recognize an emotional pattern, because if I'm in an emotional pattern, I have to get out of it somehow, because emotional patterns are basically what keep us stagnant and potentially make us sick as a human, and then as a culture, and then as a world. Holla. So this is part of the paradigm that we're breaking free from, or we're being guided to transform, or as a species we're evolving out of. I really don't think it's like a personal thing. Like I'm I'm doctoring the paradigm shift. And yet I do feel that we're all here as co-creators being like, holla, wouldn't that be fun? Like, because we know it on a soul level. We get the whole spiritual ascension thing. And yet being embodied, like being in a human vessel while you're like undergoing this like quantum shift is fucking wild. So a lot of us are here like consciously choosing that, being like, come on you guys, I know it feels awful, but like you're gonna feel great after. Um, After your soul gets washed clean from corruption. All right, so the entire collective right now, like that's what a paradigm shift is. Paradigm shift is like all of our different belief systems and all of our different values and points of attractions are all getting shapeshifted, mainly reversed. So instead of prioritizing or externalizing our power and thinking that the external world has power over us, we flip it around, own that external reality as our own projection, transform all the shitty bits, and then project something better. Holla, paradigm shift, spiritual ascension, represent. That's what we're doing. And so for many of us in this wave of the ascension, of the collective ascension, it's been way deeper, way beyond the mind. And so we're all here being like, what? Huh? What's. But I'm pretty sure I've been positive. I'm pretty sure I've been projecting positive thoughts. Why is it everything? Because it's not, because there's been these other layers and deeper insights so that we can be even clearer channels broadcasting a signal of that unconditional love, of harmony, compassion, of true patience and trust, and like to really know what it means, especially as again for the empath. That's why for a lot of empaths is probably why we're naturally quite introvert. And personally for me, being guided to my own space and like allowing the deservingness, talk about like Adrian stuff, like the deservingness of like having my desires be fulfilled. So yeah, uh, personal responsibility, and the more sensitive we become, it's like the more obvious that is, of like, oh my god, I have to respect this, and I have to respect this, like not just the physical temple, but like the your whole environment, everyone that you contact, everyone that you're exchanging energy with. Think of it that way, right? Everything that you're eating, everything that you're whatevs. So that sense of like up leveling, that sacred flow, and like true alignment with the heart space, and a little bit slower, but at the same time like grace, really really stunning stuff. So we'll just have to be patient. But there again, there's my big piece for the collective right now. Like stop focusing. Stop trying to fix. Like here, people say, like what's going on? I don't know what is going on, people. What's going on? Well, the TV. Well, Donald Trump. Well, sorry, and I don't mean to take the piss, but like like what's going on? People don't know what's going on within themselves. That's the issue here, my lovers. Maybe the device. Oh shit! Pardon my French. I just spilled coffee. I'm holding my hand, getting all riled up, and I just spilled coffee on my brand new. I just put new clean sheets. Oh, fortunately, I think we got it just in the nick of time. Oh, it's annoying now. So this insight, my spiritual lovers. I don't know why I say spiritual lovers, but not the sheets. I know, but it's so like that. I think we've got them. Oh, any of you Virgo people, any of you OCD clean people, oh, that's okay. It'll dry, and then if need be, I'll take a little warm water to it, and okay. How funny. My next bullet point is like deep clean. Keep it clean. Keep it clean, my lovers. Keep it clean. Like yeah, if all I want to do is sleep and stay in bed all day, like usually I'll do a bit of cleaning, maybe vac the house or clean the bedding, but mostly I'm all packed up. Like I'm living like a traveler right now because I'm focusing on the move and giving myself plenty of time to vision the the beauty, the desired outcome, basically. So the deep clean to me as well has to do with the inner and the outer. You know, like this is another layer to Ultra Love lifestyle stuff. Is like keeping our spaces clean is monumental. Decluttering on a regular basis can do us a world of good. You know, talk about like, let's be spiritual, let's meditate, and then let's also take care of our environment. I.e., if we're feeling pretty good, if we're feeling good on the self love stuff, if we're feeling like, okay, like I think I'm pretty good at taking care of myself, then let's make sure we're taking care of our house as well, our external reality, our gardens, our yardens, right? And that's something Divine Sight's been really good at sharing with us, like the evolution of her creation of the garden. And this is a big piece of what is going on. So hopefully more and more people are realizing that pointing fingers and trying to figure out what is going on by watching the news, that's not helping anything. So big leap for the masses right now is to figure out what's going on in you. Like what is going on, because the only thing that we can ever truly like what I want to say, the only way that we can really truly answer that question is by knowing ourselves. What's going on? Well, right now, there's this really wild mass awakening, great pause. You know, there's this wild global energy taking over, and what is going on? Well, I'm shapeshifting from within. I'm having greater awakenings. I'm resting like I've never rested before. I'm getting to know parts of myself that I forgot about completely and didn't even know existed. I'm starting to realize that I would like this, and not that, or that. And oh, so what's happening? So someone like me with an already really open mind, it's like all like more is getting revealed. More limiting values are getting uplifted. More veils that I thought I wanted are suddenly going, I don't give a shit about that at all. John Beanie's in the house, everybody. Who else is here? Have I said hi to Gracious Love as well? The coffee smells so good. It does. It does. Isn't it? I think so many of us probably have childhood um, like the smell of coffee. I love it. And my I grew up like my mom and dad grew. You guys know what I'm trying to say. My mom and dad drink coffee in the morning, so I feel like when I got, especially like leaving home, it's just always been a thing, and it's the whole ritual around it. So like the ultimate question, you know, what is this mystery? What are we doing here? What is actually going on? I'm hoping, I'm praying, I'm visualizing, and I'm seeing more and more people realizing that their phones and their newspapers and their TVs are not a valid expression of truth when it comes to that question, what's going on. Nothing outside of you is really going to be able to answer that question. Nothing. What's going on? Well, whatever is going on inside you is ultimately what's going on out there, and that's a big thing to, holy shit. And then you know, off we go down the different rabbit holes and into the different spiritual communities and rah rah woo woo until we just live in our more awakened state, right? And until we completely anchor in our, what people call the fifth dimension, which to me is just living from the heart. The fourth dimension is this weird, like, going back and forth. Like, is it true? I don't know. I shouldn't be, but I should try to be. Blah, 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 blah. I should try to be a really good person, right? Like, so touch is like healing the heart, but kind of still dancing. Kind of still. I just feel like dancing, back and forth, like between 3 and 4. Or not. It's not back and forth. It's, I would say the 40. Most of us are 40, like born 4D. So there's the heart awareness, and then the 4D reality is like trying to fit into 3D, but it just never works. So 4D creators, which is which is this like indigo like wave of generational healing. That fourth dimension, I would say, was really seeded in the 60s, and then more of us with born by those parents or whatever are then now with the DNA codes of this next sprouting of that seeded energy, of that revolutionary seeded energy of cosmic love, you know, the freedom, the hippie, but it's not actually, those are just sort of derogatory terms created by the mainstream media to again, divide and conquer. And that is something as well, loop it into like what is going on. This is something we're going to see, and why I would encourage more and more of us to completely stop watching TV and news, and even the Facebook, maybe to a certain degree, because we're likely to come across the rising unrest, the rising anger when people awaken on these levels. It's not necessarily, there are people will feel stuff and they will react, and that's okay. And yet on the physical three-dimensional level, it could get ugly, right? We're seeing this, so we have to have that compassion piece anchored really strong. And ultimately, if it's troubling you because you can't really do anything with what they teach you or show you on the news, then stop watching it completely. Deep clean your mind and heart. Deep clean your mind and heart. Yeah, because it can be like boom. And yet most of us get it because we've been through that layer. I remember being I joke, and I never want to like take the piss or like offend people who carry this kind of energy, but like the raging feminist, and I had enough people tell me to calm down, or that blah blah, or like nobody wants to hear that. And a lot of it would have been exemplary of, oh, classic, so like women just get silenced when people don't want to hear what they have to say. And or that's just part of the journey. It's part of awakening. We all might have a lot of anger to process once we really, really open that heart space. Because the way I see it as well, it's clearing heart walls. It's every awakening on the mental veil, or just the visceral embodiment veil, is delayering dense emotional cells. That's not quite right. Dense emotional layers, I guess, surrounding the heart. And yet those you could say the heart walls of those emotional layers are connected to pathways of cellular activity. That's where patterns come in. So like, yeah, that's why our emotions and the awareness of our emotions is like the crux of our empowered awakening, versus awakening and just being like, which is my experience, awakening and just being like, fuck it, and like, is it, like, just so much aloneness. At least now there's greater momentum, which in my idea will make the awakening easier and easier for more and more. Not to mention the young ones now, so many of them are already awakened, and like, what are you adults fuffing about? We create our realities, holla! Like, they're already like vibrating on those higher levels, kind of just like, yeah, observing the pointing of fingers and that energy, that lower, just less of like, I don't want to use a derogatory term. It's just what it is. It's that perspective. It's separation perspective. That, I mean, to me, certainly in my inner reality, any projection of separation is a fearful one, because we're so infinitely unified. We're so infinitely one with all that is, that the separation construct is frightening. Like, I'm all alone. And like, and it's so opposite from truth. Infinity and eternity of us is that. Like, we are infinite and we are eternal, and we are powerful beyond measure. So this idea of like, you're just a separate, you have no connection to nothing and no one. When you die here, you're done. You're gone forever. And that is so in opposition to the truth. No shit, we're all like, really? Oh no, that's awful. That's just really awful. And like, but then, and then as we navigate in that feeling of awfulness, again, are most of us born into these like suffering patterns, like jealousy and fear and da da da. But we're like, but that doesn't, the truer being in me is like, that's, none of this makes sense to me. And that's why we're here noodling it out. I mean, like, well, if it doesn't make sense, it's probably not true. So, what are we doing, humans? What are we doing? Nobody knows. So, let's reconvene. So, like, okay, wait, and then it's like, hello, look at this current energy. Wait, stop, pause. Like, legit, that's what we're in, a complete reevaluation of the entire global paradigm. And here's another piece of the flip. But guess what? Those people that we call leaders, they don't have any power over us. Holla. I mean, you can have love and compassion for everyone on this whole entire planet, but legit true, just focus on yourself. That's what those people do. Like, let's just focus on ourselves. At least we have lots of love and compassion in our hearts. So, if those of us with loads of love and compassion are focusing on ourselves and our highest manifestation for once and for all, god dang it, stop focusing on saving the world or saving the animals. Just live in alignment with your heart and soul as you are in the here now and lead the way. Because I've started reading. I, I as a side glance, what I caught was captured some sun rays shitting down on me today. Oh, don't you love when the sun shits all over you? I do. I'm getting a tan. So I started. You guys know I don't like read that much, but I'm starting to because I'm taking more leisure time. Gosh darn it, I'm a I'm a company director. I need to take more leisure time. So I finished a book. The last book that I started was called Animals. Fantastic read. Can't remember the author, but really fun read. Animals. I picked that up in Bali at the end of 2018 when I was making Spirituality Simplified. Hala, a year and a half. Finished. Boom. New book. Conversations with God. I know it's like a spiritual book, but whatever. I'm enjoying it so far. What's his face? I res with this guy, Neil Donald Walsh. I res with his vibrashe around like presenting quite this like divine thing, but also recognizing his like random humanness, which I res with the Fearless Life Guide, being like, I'm pretty sure this is like some divine juice, but I'm like, ah. So I don't need to bring the book out because I wrote the quote down. I know. I just can't get away from my like studiousness, can I? I'm like going to the beach, but I have to bring a book and I must bring a pen and a notepad just in case there's like relevant information, which there was, in fairness. I feel like making love. So the and this is, I mean, gosh, we could say it over and over and over and over and over and over and again. People talk about the word of God. No, my lovers. Words don't teach. Vibration does. That's from Abraham. Oh, the stationery. I know. But I don't even have an under because all these papers, what I'm doing is my new practice is to actually like, not hold them, basically. They're just like fluid, like my YouTube channel, just fluid thought form, and then just like be done with it. And on to the next, except I still need done. And then, okay, so the additional reminder, and again, this is a complete, I guess, paradox or like conundrum. And like, I'm a speaker. I use words to convey messages and tell stories, and then and then words don't teach, vibration does. And I'm like, oh, okay, so that means I can't just talk about this shit. I actually have to live it in the essence of my life. And that has been like another, just these last few years of being like extra challenged, but it's made me a better person and probably maybe a more effective, bringer of the light. Like, I don't even care about any of that. I'm just like, you guys, let's just have a nice time. And except for me, having a nice time is like meditating, relaxing, doing yoga, drinking smoothies, eating healthy, natural food, maybe smoking cannabis, like maybe having, like all this good stuff. So then within like a page or two of starting conversations with God, and then you guys know words don't teach, vibration does. There's this, so he's into the conversation. This is after the little intro and him kind of giving us a heads up as to like, this is weird for me too, that God was just like, holla, like I'm right here, like I'm talking to you all the time, you guys just fucking deny me. Thank you, divine side. So I'm getting better. You guys know I had, like, I'm shape-shifting with my lifetime here, and Adrian, I watched a couple of Adrian's live stream, and I realized, like, I don't really, yeah, and I didn't even get triggered by that. Holla! Get your freak up. So, what up, my loves? so Neil Donald Walsh, right from the get-go, one of his messages from the old Rooney is, words are the least reliable purveyor of truth. So if words are like the least reliable purveyor of truth, then you can also suss out, then that certainly means that this thing is not going to be a purveyor of truth. My phone is not going to be a purveyor of truth. Where is the truth? Where is the truth? Right here. In your heart, in your feels. It's the feeling, it's the experience. And this is what, again, out of the fear program, people deny themselves to live an experience out of fear and practicality. I can't do it because of this. I can't do it because of this. And that's something when an intuitive or an empath, like, I just couldn't deny that. Plus, like, whatever. It's like, sometimes you just want to stop analyzing your life and continue to live it and be it and be the expression of it. And that's so much, I think, the times we're living in. Like, get to know yourself, because everybody pointing fingers and like, this is what's happening, this is what's going on, this is what's going on. None of that is actually relevant to probably their daily existence. It's some agenda, some story by somebody else as well. And I'm like, straight up legit, if somebody else is telling a story that don't feel good to you, step off. Like, step off that thought train, because it's not for you. And or if it feels like shit, that's not, we create what we feel, not what we think. And that's a big, that's again part of the Fearless Lifeguard, part of like what this community vibrates and resonates with, is that it's very little to do with thought and word. Like, word is the ultimate limited construct of what thought vibration is. Thought vibration is an extension of our feeling primary connection to source and our soul and our infinity self, right? And so we have these, like, that source point. That's why we meditate. That's why we relax. Like, being in that source point and that stillness and that feel good. And then this, I only read a few more pages after that, but the essence of it is like, truly, truly, God, higher self, all that is, you are connected with that all the time, and it's always asking you to choose better and choose better feeling. So no matter how shitty we feel, pointing fingers, and this is where it doesn't matter how aware, blah blah blah. If people are trying to find the answers and pointing fingers out there, they're not in their power. It doesn't matter how many followers they have. It doesn't matter how whatever. If they're still, well, this is the blah, and like, I just think, well, that's your unique story. So we have an opportunity to completely retell a different story with a clean slate, like, essentially. I don't reckon we're going to be taking a lot of the energy that where we were 2 months ago. Do you guys remember where you were 2 months ago? Do you remember the energy that you were? Are you different now? Do any of you actually want to go back to that? I don't. I definitely don't. And it's not out of fear. It's just out of clarity of a conscious choice maker. Oh, that's done now. Now I'm here. Now what? Now what? So part of the energy of June, again, mini retreat, giving yourself the retreat properly, like, really, really, no stress, no drama, no da-da. You reevaluate yourself. Reevaluate what you want. Reevaluate who you are now. God, right? We think about that too. Think about how much you've changed in a year, how much you've changed in 2 years, how much you've changed in a week. Bye, holla. So the ultimate question, the deep clean, the inner movement. So yes, this is part of it as well. So we have all this distancing stuff going on. The in this stillness phase. Well, or I want to say more. We're not allowed to travel. That's what I'm trying to get out of my mouth. We're not quite, traveling. We're not moving around as much. We're in this sort of forced energy of like, whoa, chill. So there is that. What we're learning here is that the truth of manifestation is in the inner movement. It's the inner stillness. It's our inner primary connectivity. And to be fair, I must say that I would say so dominantly that we have been disconnected and even programmed into that disconnection to the point of fearing the connection. No wonder we have patterns and loops and waves to transform, to remember, and bring us back into that connection sans fear, right? Sans limitation. So this inner movement is navigating us to a deeper ease, a deeper sense of gratitude, a quietude, and then a contentment that is intelligent, a contentment that is rested in its knowing, not the other, not a apathy. It's a deep peace and contentment and knowing that all is unfolding in perfect timing. Empath community, what I feel into this month, so like this community and other empath communities like Adrian Elise, Lee Harris, to name a couple that I still tune into. Empaths are coming into greater intelligent emotional awareness. So the more of us congregating, the more of us uniting, like we have, like I have the live share crew, and I'm sure we all of us sharing on these things have these private soul groups, like soul tribes that are, yeah, really, really coming together. So that is creating like the mastermind around this next wave of intelligent emotional awareness so that more and more of us can hold space for the next wave of humans awakening and that are going to go through their atonement, right? They're going to go through their I think for me personally, the emotional processing and healing is like kind of ongoing, but it goes in kind of different layers. So you sort of outwork stuff and then you rise, and then you outwork others and then you rise, and then eventually you start to build momentum in having a greater, very, very visceral understanding of what you're doing within self, and then kind of off you go. The journey will lead itself. That's something that happened in my reality last year as well. Like, even though there was a lot of depth of processing, something took on new life where it's almost like my, instead of me having to navigate the path, it was like my path was guiding me. It still is. That's the point. I don't, that's where, for a lot of us, here now, it's like I rest a lot and chill a lot, and I feel generally really quite good. And yet, my process is like when stuff hits me, I'll sit with it and process it, and that's just how we roll. um, so, so yeah, so the empath community, right, rising into greater integrity and intelligent awareness. This is going to help more and more empaths come into their power and access their gifts and then share and shine. So that wave, that infinity leap wave, is kind of like more and more empathic souls rising into their power to provide the service that they're here to provide for the next wave of awakening souls, if that makes sense. You know, one body of Christ, one body of consciousness. This body is just rising in light quotient. It's very kind of like scientific on one level, and yet we are that as that which we see. So it's really, yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to be here with you, especially after like, yeah, the intensity. And then I have talked about this, right? I mentioned the blame game slash the divide and conquer agenda. That is ultimately part of what some of us are going to see more and more clearly, obviously, and you'll see the detriment of it. You'll see why it doesn't work, why it's not effective ever to point a finger. Woe is me, except you're the creator. Oh yeah, shit. Why am I the victim? Well, because you're in a habit of blaming external world for how you feel. And that's part of the intelligent emotional awareness. It's how we feel. People, it's not everybody's, it's not always everyone else's fault for how we feel, right? That was also in 2010, 2012 is when I really started the deeper emotional work, and that's how I started to uproot like sabotage or control patterns that were not in any way helping me or my life. Outworking those patterns were through deep emotional processing, deep emotional storms, healing trauma from past life, healing trauma from this life, like whatever it might be, right? And again, I explain all of it in the Fearless Life Guide. And I taught in the Fearless Life Guide, I talk about the inefficiency and the inefficacy of the blame game and the divide and conquer. So as you rise your soul self, you stop blaming at all. You stop pointing fingers. You stop because you don't want to be a divided soul. You want to be whole, right? So stop dividing everything around you and start to feel more. That's part of the empath community, and the role of the empath is to feel and really get to know those feelings and how they connect to thought and how they connect to your behavior and how they connect to your everything, you know, your body, your environment. It's all there. So and again, Adrian Elise will often reflect this watching me, like a big game for us has been like actually permissioning ourselves to be here finally, you know, like landing on this earth full of love and being able to do what we want and have what we want and rest and play and have fun. Like, it's really, really beautiful. It's just like a weird ass journey. And like mind fuckery because the program is so limited, i.e. like the 3D or the Matrix. That program is so limited that when you start awakening, it's mind-blowing, i.e. the crumbling, collapsing of a system. The system, as it were, is a constructed reality via our imagination on some level. And so if that starts to break apart, it's so that's what's happening. We all awaken. Oh, we're creating it. And then we don't want to create that, so we start processing the emotional density of that, and oh my god, it starts to disappear. Which is why we're in such a powerful time to like navigate something really epic and beautiful. You know, I think a lot of people will start to be aware of that as well. Like the government's just handing out money, so that money has always been there, right? Right. So you could just be helping people out, right? You know, this is what we're dealing with here. Oh, so I've been struggling for the last year and a half, and you've been dishing out 3 pence a fucking month, and suddenly now there's a lot more to just hand out and dish out? Yeah, because it's an illusion because we just create it. Oh, right. So, you know, deep questioning, deep, destabilizing, uncomfortable, ego death worthy, dark night of the soul kind of stuff going on. Which is why I want to continue to encourage this community, the empath community, people who are sensitive, withdrawal, my lovers. Take your space, get your kiddie pools, do your gardening, you know, be able to be still, be able to be silent. You don't need to jump on like, and here's the thing. One thing is like, yes, our devices, and turn off your TV. If there's people in your environment that you don't want to talk to, you don't have to. You know, you can stay quiet. That's whether you're watching TV or listening to somebody talk, getting really engaged in what they're saying, trying to help them, or thinking that blah blah, it's going to be just as distracting or destabilizing as watching the news. So just be mindful. Again, this is part of the deep clean. It's like, who do I want in my world? What relationships feel most high vibration? What what visions feel most high vibration? Do you guys like how I say vibration? Laugh. Because honestly, like, what else except, I mean, you can't phony laugh, but even smiling when you're not like feeling joyful is meant to be good for you. Anyway, do self-care. Scrubbing in the bubbles. Oh my god, I've made a new, so I've been saving my coffee grinds, and I've been putting coffee grinds just in a little, my little coconut oil pots. But I used my coffee grinds with my sweet almond oil, and it has made like the most amazing coffee scrub ever. It were body scrub rather. It just feels so good. And because I always feel a bit like, sometimes I use my old coffee grinds and put them in the garden, um but I don't like wasting them. And then I just suddenly was like, why don't I do that? And yeah, so I've been making these amazing, and like, I drink coffee every day, so I'm never gonna run out of coffee grinds to make this scrub with. mm. And it's all felt really good with my kind of like fasting and detoxing vibration. um so yeah, deeper self-care, more self-love, like unashamed, like whatever. At this point I'm like, so what if I want to spend an hour just buffing my face? Do something about it. That's me. That's what I like to do right now. Holla holla. Ain't no holla back girl. Ain't no holla. So yeah. And like, okay, so I can spend a ridiculous amount of time by myself. Like, do something. I've really, again, I'm coming back around a loop of being like, oh, I'm like the most introvert that I've ever met for Rizzles. Although I can sort of imagine that a lot of you guys are also as introvert as me, and that's why you understand what I'm talking about. um, or you just feel the hot love vibration, like, I know that, spirit. And I'm like, I know you, spirit. We all know each other when our hearts are opened. It's like when you just genuinely love people and they're like, step away, and you're like, oh, I only just wanted to love you. I feel love for you. And they're like, you crazy. And you're like, okay. I just keep loving myself. That's generally what I've done. It's been some heavy rejection modalities over here. I actually had somebody reach out. Somebody that I met probably like 3 or 4 years ago who was like, oh, MJ, I never meant to abandon and reject you. And I was like, I never thought you were abandoning and rejecting me. Because we had a beautiful encounter. And then all these years later, and I was like, that's so nice. Like, because he obviously saw a video where I was like, MJ, abandon. And he was like, oh no, I didn't mean to do that. And I'm like, I never thought that of you. Only because, again, there's that weird interpretation of like, I don't blame people for how I feel. I also have to feel my feelings, and sometimes when you go, only when I am in a loop ultimately in feeling. If I'm not in a loop with somebody, I just love them. Because I love myself. Oh, I'm starting to talk shit, you guys. Let's wrap it up. Let's start wrapping up this cycle. Blame game. Okay, blame. So the more people are shining light on the inefficacy of the blame game and the divide and conquer inherent divide and conquer. I mean, divide and conquer is the tactic for the control system that very few people are running, you could say. And so they don't, and they're powerless essentially. So then this is the mass awakening. And then as people are really coming more into their emotional awareness, that is one and the same as the crumbling of the unstable perspective. Oh my God, anyway, I'm not gonna. And then mass awakening, holla. So this 2020, June 2020, number 10 is sort of like that world's ending. Now we're here, and there's enough of a critical mass focusing on the new, and just stop focusing on the other. I know it can be challenging, and yet it's not true. So we might as well not give it more power anymore. Okay, and then the final notes I basically have are let it all go and be open to receive. This is another challenging thing. Like, even for someone like me, like, I've been focusing on All to Love. I've been focusing on pioneering this online business, this movement, this, like, so fiercely, like, moving so fast, just with so little, like, just taking the next leap and taking the next leap and not knowing where. And this has been the last 8 years of my life, building. And even myself, I'm at a point where I'm not attached to any of it. It makes me a little bit sad to say that, but like, if that's what the life force wants for me, as in if I'm meant to just let go of this or let go of All to Love, that's okay too. As in, like, I'm just so open to like living in peace and coming into my full expression at this point in my life that nothing else matters. That's detachment for you. That's the truth of spiritual detachment. I'm genuinely not like, and yet it's had all this life experience to get me to this point where let it go. I don't have anything to prove. I don't. Been there, done that. It's tiring. And you never get, nothing gets proved on that level. All you prove to yourself is that the next level is to let go. Yeah. And let it go, let it go. I am one with the wind and sky. Let it go, let it go. They'll never see me cry. Except you do see me cry on the reg. Here I stand in the light of day. Isn't there a bit where she says, and the storms move on, you never know. Anyway, I used to sing that in my singing lessons. There's the bit where she says, You know, in the bridge bit of the song? Anyone know the lyrics? Sing it, baby. Okay, it's too loud. But, what's that bit? The sun is forever and fighting through the air. And then she says something like, then the frozen fractals all around. Anyway, Frozen is legend. The cold never bothered me anyways. Yeah, that bit. Oh, you guys are so awesome. I totally, like, I can almost place, like, the words to it. Um, but the fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all. I'm free, let it go, let it go. Anyway, June, energy update. Let it go, lovers. I mean, don't be frozen. Like, I don't want us to be frozen, but I do want us to let it go. I mean, you get it. You get the main point of... I don't know the names. For some reason, I'm hearing the name Eliza. Does that ring true for that movie Frozen? Anywho, the point is that we all have special gifts. And those special gifts might frighten the people in our village. And like the character of Frozen is demonstrating to us, let it go. Go off and create your own icicle kingdom somewhere. Elsa, thank you. Go off and create your own icicle kingdom. And show everyone that you're not, you don't want to hurt them or anything. You just have these powers that you're gonna express your powers. That's a big part of it. That we have to let go of the fear of judgment of other, you know? I've never seen it, but somehow know it very well. It's so funny. I've only seen Frozen once, but I know that song because I used to sing it with my singing teacher back in the Disney. I just still come around to the bridge bit because that was my favorite bit to sing. Because it shifts gear and she's like, there's something growing in it. Anyway, you guys, I'm gonna shoot skis. Oh, and then the last line of my notes is it's all about feeling focus. So let's just remember that. It's this whole manifestation game is the feeling. That's all. It's God. It's coming straight from the words of God, you guys. And I totally resonate, right? And recognize that when we listen to other people who were listening to other people who were listening to other people, this is why I talk about the karmic backlog. You know, we're not transforming just our personal life. We're transforming the quanti-essence of the DNA structure of the human body. Like we're transforming the body as one body, as an evolutionary conscious leap for humanity. So if you resonate with doing that work, don't listen to other people's thoughts about it, because most of it's not anchored in any kind of resonant truth on a higher level. And most of us are just regurgitating patterned mind speak out of a protective mechanism. I.e., it's uncomfortable to be in silence because people don't know who they are. That's why we blame and attack, because we don't want to sit with how we're feeling. Straight up legit. Sorry to say it. Because people don't want to hear that. What? He did that. That's why I feel this way. This has nothing to do with me. Except you're the one that's feeling it, right? That was always my conundrum, because I'm like, yeah, but shit, I'm the one feeling it. If I'm feeling it, then I'm attracting it. Why am I attracting it? It's the karmic backlog. Doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo-doo. That's some generations, you know? We're not just made up of, like, our mother stuff. It's the mothers, the mothers, the mothers, the mothers, the fathers, And because this is a quantum leap, I'm pretty sure it's... And we talk about 26,000 year, 2,000 year, 16,000, 12,500, blah, blah. We have all these sort of patterned cycles, evolutionary pattern cycles that we've lived out on this planet. And I would personally say that we're actually unifying the entire the entire code. Like, as in, we're culminating that belt of our existence, having learned and integrated the very many lessons on the very many levels, so that we can express a more unified field in the here now. So that means we're not taking those energetic codes with us, we're transforming them and becoming something different. Yeah. So yeah, this book is it's very cool, and it's just reminding me, it's just really lovely reminders of what's the point of all this awakening stuff. It's all about the focus feeling. And for an empath, that's why empaths want to share more, because for an empath, that is more difficult than for a lot of other people. Just focus on your feelings. It's very tricky when you're kind of a sponge picking up on lots of different feelings in the airways, right? And yet, if you're picking them up, you're picking them up. So you got to do something with them and become aware of them. If we're unconscious, we end up staying in low level patterns as well. It's so true. Oh my God. See, you're so meant to be watching this. Divine Sight shared that she just in flow and serendipity was guided to watch Frozen 2. I said I've never seen it. I've only seen the first Frozen. And then this piece, the final weird. I have a twin. Oh, wonderful. Forward focus, feeling focus. Like, that's all we need to do. Like, the thoughts will align with the feelings once we're in those better feelings. And yet, feeling deeply, in my opinion, is the only way to really transform some of the deeper shames and guilts that we carry. So I love this. So Olaf is, I think, a comical character. I could be wrong. I want to... Is he like the little snowman, or is he a creature? Anyway, Olaf, we are filled with water that holds memories of all the people, animals, and places it's been before it was in us. Like, and because I'm a crier, I'm an emotional, like, so the tears, but what I'm aware of is that tears are a plasmic kind of energy. It's the water. So the tears or the sweat and the way our body releases the fluid and liquid is a transformational act, especially when in a storm, because you're in your, I mean, God, I'll be sweating and just be like such deep emotion, and yet with the light of your awareness, it's like burning through karma, it's burning through samskara, right? So it's like those emotional storms help to penetrate veils to help keep us expanding and open our mind to higher codes and or certainly higher thought frequency. And that's also part of congregating in our tribes. Where you res, you can invest in that tribal congregation and help build new worlds through those investments and making those more expansive connections. So I would all invite you. I know a lot of you that end up live with me here are part of the live share crew. And yeah, I'll continue to invite people, if you be resin with the vibrashe over here, to join the live share crew, support Auto Love, and come into this higher vibrational mastermind to continue to permission us to manifest that what we deserve, desire, and are here to express for everybody. So yeah, just stay in that feeling focus. I will probably get around to doing the monthly reading, or not, I finished the monthly readings, thank you. So the monthly readings for June are up. This will be our live. I'll endeavor to do a couple more lives over the next month, but I flipped the paradigm of the channel. Now although this week I have taken a complete retreat, so instead of doing like 4 or 5 live shares a week live, I'm now turning that round and endeavoring to do like maybe just 1 a week or something like this live from my lovers, and then dedicate a lot more time to the live share crew because they're dedicated to the brand, right? They invest in the brand, so I want to invest back in them. It makes sense. Makes perfect sense, really. But I must say it's me opening up, softening, and letting the live share crew help me navigate it. And my friends, you guys are all my friends now, so it's like, sorry you guys, I'm coming to the end of it. So there. If you want to join the live show crew, I would love to have you there. If you want to book a reading, an online coaching sesh. Ooh, and I think tomorrow, June 1st, I'll be hey Katie J, how are you, Chica? I did see you earlier. I forgot to say hello. I'm sending a shout out, probably the 1st or 2nd or 3rd of the month, And I'm going to be offering some new online coaching packages, having completed first real formal year of having worked with about 4 people this past year and seeing really positive benefits. It's very intuitive the way I work with people, and I feel very comfortable with the prices that I've shared. So keep an eye out for that. I'll send a shout out in the next couple of days. Otherwise, there you have it. Month of June. Focus on those feelings. Keep loving yourself. Keep expecting the best. Keep knowing that you deserve the best like everybody else and that your heart is pure. Mega love you guys. Feel free to reach out if need be. I love you. Wishing you all a glorious Sunday, and I can't wait to see you real soon. Peace out, my lovers.